My memory's awful, so I feel like I've talked about this before, but maybe I haven't. I just was having a moment where I think it was one of those things I probably should share, even though I just kind of thought to wasn't really my initial plan. But one of the things that people don't talk about enough in healing is that the shock it is to your system when the changes elicit a different response from society. That probably doesn't make any sense, so I'll just dive into my example. What I'm talking about is that, at the beginning of the year, I was lucky if I had 1,000 steps a day. I would, without going back and looking at the data, I would wager that most days I have less than 1,000 steps a day. To doing 10,000 steps a day. When you look at health forms and you are looking at like nutrition plans and stuff, it changes a lot when you go from not very many steps a day to 10,000 steps a day and spending between 60 and 90 minutes every day exercising with my heart rate elevated. And actually, I've got to. Hold on one second. I'm going to check. Well, I guess the course of this conversation has changed it a little bit and may take a little longer. What I was talking about is I was filling out forms and looking at things, and I'm just used to putting that I'm not very active on the form. And I went to go mark that box, and I had to stop and think about it. And I looked at the criteria for that particular whatever form I was looking at or whatever. And according to that, I am a very highly active person. And the visceral response in my body was my old response that I rarely experience anymore, and it's denial and pushing it away. I'm so uncomfortable with the idea that I might be a highly active person that my first instinct is to push it away. No, refuse it. I'm not a highly active person. I'm that. And that's where I have to stop and go through this cycle, like this intentional cycle and discussion with myself about it. So when I pause just a minute ago, I wanted to look it up. And according to, some government health websites, I am an active person. A highly active person would be somebody that walks 12,500 steps or more a day. Which means I could be a highly active person with another 20 minutes or so in there. And that's such a foreign thing to me. It's hard to accept the really, really good result of my work is that I'm an active person. I want to be an active person. No, I want to be a highly active person, and I'm not that far away. I'm struggling with my the brain chemistry changes with fitting everything into my day that I need to accomplish. Big part of that is my doom scrolling habit. I am disconnected. I don't talk to people a lot of days, and so I scroll, and it's awful, and I want to quit. And I'm working on it, but I could be, with some better time management, I could be a highly active person. And the weird thing about that is, while that's exciting and makes me feel, well, to be honest, I'll tell you, I'm disconnected from that feeling. I'm so not used to that. It's so foreign to me that it's hard to accept it. This is why we do the work. But I wanted to share some other things because, if you think about it, It would only take me another 20 minutes. I'm spending time, but I'm not running marathons. I'm not doing some of the things other people are. But I wanted to just, as I was looking up to find out like more what the official designation was between active or highly active, I found some other things that are kind of just, I thought, important to look at. Because I've avoided exercise, I think I've been very hesitant to accept certain facts or to believe them. And somewhere in the back of my head, I knew there had to be some substance to them, but I just didn't want to look at it, I guess. So, being overweight is associated, and this is coming from the National Center for Biotechnology Information in the National Library of Medicine. I don't like that that's medicine and biotech, but anyway, that's a whole other thing. That's not natural medicine. Being overweight is associated not only with physical health problems, but with the risk of mental health problems. That's one of those things I've probably heard before, but when I read it today, I embodied it. I could feel it and believe it in my body. Increased physical activity has been recommended for the prevention of cardiovascular disease. However, little is known about the effects of walking on physical and mental health outcomes. They did a study with 30 participants who walked 10,000 steps a day, and they found that those participants had significantly lower anxiety, depression, anger, fatigue, confusion, and total mood distress scores when compared with measurements taken prior to the intervention. My heaviest was 70 or 80 pounds heavier than I am now. And the last time I was that heavy was in 2022. And I lost a bunch of weight, and I kept it off for a while, and then I put some back on last year. And so I was, at that heaviest weight. I was right before I got kind of started the big, my health got so bad I couldn't do things, and that was kind of when the whole dark night started. Getting into the study of natural medicine has illuminated the connectedness of the systems of our bodies. And if this doesn't kind of address or go to show that, it's pretty clear right there that the things you do with your bodies, the things you put into your bodies, the way you treat your body really has effects systemically, not just on weight. When you're at a heavy weight and you're not doing anything about it, you don't want to hear that. It's not comforting. That doesn't feel good. That doesn't motivate you to change your habits or your behaviors. And I will tell you that, getting my mental health straight has made it, this time, not always in the past, but this time has made it possible for me to look really clearly and honestly at the behaviors and habits I have that affect my total outcomes. And it fucking sucks to have to look at that. It's really hard to have to look at the part you play in your own suffering, but that's part of the natural medicine that I work with Green 5 Energy. I think that if we were all talking about this hard stuff more frequently, it wouldn't feel so taboo. And they don't want us talking about it because they don't want us to learn that we can fix it and that we can learn from each other, and we don't need to spend all our money on ridiculous cures to make people rich. We were put on this earth with plants, and we have the ability to control our wellness systemically in many ways. I'm not saying that Western medicine isn't a part of how we heal. I'm just saying that if we care to take the time, we can be empowered to play a much larger role in our own healing. And it's hard work, but I'm here to tell you that it's life-changing, and that somebody like me who used to be stressed and scared and anxious, to be in a place of just being calm and accepting and loving and learning and evolving as a human has been a really incredible experience, and it's worth all the hard work. And I'm here to help. I can't walk your path for you. I can't tell you how you can heal yourself, but I can give you tools and resources, and I can walk right next to you holding your hand. Have a wonderful day.